And it's really good to be with those who believe in God. How many of you watched news last night? You know, there are two accidents, right? One is a car accident, and another one was, what was that? Snowmobile, right? Do you guys saw that? No? The car accident of 7 years, kids was killed. And snowmobile accident, a man, was killed. So and I just found out this morning, I went to, walk, and that man, that killed was our store manager husband. So, just like that, they were, couldn't even have time to say goodbye. So that's really sad, right? So I don't know where he will be, but are you also sure if that happened to you, where will you be? Are you sure? Is that which way you're going? So that's very important, right? So you come here is good, but, just by sitting here won't help you at all. You sit and you listen and you do what? You believe. You believe and you do what? Obey. You walk. So that's how one day everything will be turned out. Hey, is that a real Christian? Is that a true believer? That's how, God will give us the answer. So do you guys remember last week, we talked about Abraham, right? He, Abraham, verse 13. Verse 12, God called Abraham. He said, I'm going to bless you. Man, your name will be great. Many people will be blessed because of you. But after God said that in Genesis chapter 12, God blessed Abraham. He said, I'm going to do this for you. But not very long, Abraham did what? Disobey. Right? He went to Egypt. And he learned a lesson, came back, and he stayed right there. He don't want to go out again. But then later, that was after 10 years, right? After 10 years, he came back from Egypt. After 10 years, he said, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to stay here. And then God blessed. God said the same thing, and, God blessed him. And he said, God told him that, whatever direction you go, you listen, you obey. Right? So that is the forefather of the Israelites. And we can say that that's also our spiritual father, right? Because those who believe in Jesus are the sons and daughters of whom? Abraham. Right? The Bible said that, right? So somehow we are related to that, to Abraham. So that's why we, the descendant of Abraham, and spiritually, we are one of them. Let's read today. Let's read this verse from, I believe, Deuteronomy chapter. Let me see, what verse is it? Chapter 11, start with verse 24. And I'm going back to 22 later. So let's go to 24. Can you see that? So let's read this, everybody. Every place the sole of your foot treads shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even to the western sea shall be your territory. So this is the message that came to the Israelites, the Abraham descendant. So God said that I'm going to give you this land. Do you see that? Yeah, I'm going to give all of this. But they have to do what? No, according to this verse, they have to do what? every place on which they have to do what? The sole of your foot treads. That's mean what? You have to step on that land and you have to walk. Wherever you walk, I am going to give all of this land right in front of you. Right? So their duty was to do what? To walk. So how should they walk? Let's go back to 22, 23. Chapter 11, verse 22, 23. So let's read it together. For if you carefully keep all these commandments, which I command you to do, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, and to hold fast to him, then the Lord will drive out all these nations from before you, and you dispossess greater and mightier nations than yourself. Then we jump to verse 24. They have to do what? They have to step on that land. So according to verse 22 and verse 23, they have to do what? Obey all the commandments that God gave, right? And then God said that I'm going to do that for you. I'm going to drive out everything for you. So today, the problem with us, that time was the problem with the Israelites. Today, the problem with Christians. So the most dangerous things that destroy our blessing, of a Christian life is what? Disobedience, right? Disobedience. Because we see that from Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 22, right? You have to obey all the commandments. If you do that, the next step is what? Before war, God said that what? I'm going to drive out all your enemies before you. And then you walk with me, you'll get everything. Isn't that a good deal? But how should we would like to do today? How should we going to set up our goal today? Now, some of you are going to college, right? And some of you still in the school. And some of you would like to walk at, some good paying job and stuff like that. How do you set up your goal? And some of you would like to get married. How do you do that? On what standard? You set up your goal. Right? Just think about it. When you apply something, when you try to do something, do you go to God first? And then you said that, Lord, I'm willing to obey all of your commandments. Right? I'm going to read the Bible. I'm going to clean my life with this book. And then you said, now I'm going to do this job. See, most of the time we don't do that, right? Most of the time we do it with our own ability. Hey, this is what I think. Man, that might be really fit to my, ability. This is what I'm good at that. So I'm going to apply that job. And I believe that guy will what? Like me. And going to hire me. Or that school will accept me because my GPA was so good. I'm very good at, my school jobs and stuff like that. Where was God at that time? Way back there, right? You don't even include God. But you include God when? Before you go to interview. Right? Before interview, you say what? Oh, I need God. Please, God, come and, just stay beside me. Don't do anything, but stay with me. Right? Does God would like to do that like that way? No. Now, according to this, we have to do what? Obey first, right? I'm going to do all the commandments. If you do that, God said that the scholarship that you need, I'll give. Right? The job that you are searching, I'll give you a better job. Right? And the life partner that you are searching here is the right one for you. But the first thing that we have to do is obey and love God. And then you don't have to carry that load, with you. The problem with us today is we are so tired. We came in, this is what happened to us, right? We said, how should I do that? I have to preach this week. I have to teach Bible study. Oh, I have to do something. Every load we just what? Carried by ourselves. See, our God is only on Saturday or Sunday. Right? So until you fix that problem, until you started doing, the Bible tells us to do, your whole life will be, in terrible situation. Believe me. You don't want to, let your life to be like that. Many people, our forefather, those, you just go back and study, the Word of God. Like the history. Right? There is a man that, pray, he only trusts God. He don't trust people. He don't trust man. He don't trust even the government. How many of you heard about George Mueller? No? George Mueller. He was a prayer warrior, right? Whatever he do, he just did a great ministry, the orphanage. And he only believed in God, not in people, not in the organization. Whatever he needs, the first thing is he walked with God and he talked with God. When he pray, the answer just come like that. Boom. He needs money for the orphanage. How am I going to feed these 200 kids? That time was too hard. He prayed, and the next morning, the breads were there. Somebody brought it. I need to feed this and this guy. The next morning, eggs and milks are there. See, that's how God, told us to do, right? Trust Him, obey Him, and then what? He's going to drive everything, all the obstacle away. Only thing you have to do is you walk with Him. That easy, right? Is that easy? Do you like to be, your lifestyle will be like that? Yeah. So just go and make sure you kind of trust that God and try to obey Him a little bit. So who is the one, who is the first king of the Israelites? King Saul, right? How did he become a king? What's that? Oh, people give us what? King. We need king like other nations. But who made that happen? God. And God is the one told Samuel to go and anoint who? Saul. And Saul was tall, handsome, and he was above everybody. Right? And what did he do for the Israelites? He fought the battle, right? He drove off those Philistines. And but later, God always, would like to see, His servant obey Him. So what was the first thing that Saul did wrong? How many of you know? King Saul. No, that was the second one. What was the first one? What was the first one that God? He sacrificed, the sacrifice, right? The animal. What's wrong with that? The king is not supposed to do the sacrifice, right? Who has to do it? The priest. So what's wrong with the priest? Where was the priest? The priest wasn't there. He was late. Right? And what happened to Saul? He said, oh man, I'm trust God. I'm going to obey God. I'm going to let God do everything. Did he do that? No, what did he do? He sacrificed the animal. What's wrong with that? Wasn't that a great idea? He didn't go and ask help from other nations. He didn't trust others, people. He trusts God. He said, I'm going to sacrifice this animal, so God will give me the answer. Wasn't that a good idea? It looked like it, right? But what's wrong with that? There was no obedience, right? So God even liked all those details, right? That job is not for you. That is for the priest. You don't step in and you don't do that. So Saul did that. So what happened? What happened to Saul? He didn't die. After he disobeyed, he said that God said that, now I'm going to search a new king. Right? And then God gave him a second chance. That was, Tanner said that. In 1 Samuel chapter 15, right? He has to go and fight who? The Amalek, right? Burmese is Amalek. And what did he do wrong over there? What was his duty to do? To kill the animals, to kill all the men, to kill all the women, to kill all the children. All those people, because those people are really, bad to the Israelites. So God said that wipe them out with all their possession, all their animals, all their families. So what did Saul do? Did he kill? He did, right? He killed all the men, right? And he did even kill a lot of women. But what didn't he do? He didn't kill. He killed some animals, not all, right? What did he bring? He brought the fat animals. For whom? Is that true? For himself? He was caught. That's why he said, I brought this to do what? For God. For your God. He didn't even say for my God. He said, Samuel, that's for your God. I brought a good thing for your God. And what else he didn't do? He didn't kill the king. The top one. Right? Agag, the king, he didn't kill. So he did something that God told him to do, but that something was something that he didn't do was no good, right? Not enough. So let's read this. 1 Samuel chapter 15, I believe, verse 22. 1 Samuel 15:22. So that's what Samuel told Saul. And that is, how many of you know that verse? Okay, let's read it together. So Samuel said, has the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifice as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed than the fat of rams. To listen is better than, doing, right? And obey is, better than doing. So now you guys are doing a lot of things, right? You serve the ministry, you do this, you do that. You serve as a youth leader. You serve, that I don't know what you serve. As a Sunday school teacher, you do many things. Isn't that a good thing? Yeah. But according to this verse, we have to ask ourselves what? Do I obey? Obey what? Obey the Word of God. Right? So can you answer that question for yourself? Do I obey God every day of my life? Right? So if you don't, you say, oh, just that only one thing. That will be like whom? Saul, right? Saul said, I did something for you, God. I obeyed this, I obeyed that. And something he left it out, right? Those things was the biggest thing. So ask yourself, do I obey God every day? What was your decision? Those decisions that you made, is that according to the obedience? Right? So those are very important things. Very, very important. In order to, be blessed. So how many of you know the story of Rahab? Who was the Rahab? A woman, yeah, of course, a woman. Yeah. What woman was that? Rahab was what? A prostitute. From where? From Jericho. Right, very good. So, what was the story behind that? Yeah, the spy went in there, and then, those two spies found out that the whole city was what? Shaking, right? Terribly, they're terrifying because the Israelites are coming. And what did Rahab do? What? Yeah, he hired those spies. Why? So there might be something there, right? There might be something there. Why? First thing, why she would like to hide those spies? Yeah, in order to save them, it might cost her life, right? So there might be something worth to hide those two spies, right? So what was the deal? Yeah, how did she know that? How did she, have assurance that, by saving those two spies, her all family will be saved? How did she know that? She had no idea at all, right? Only thing she knew was what? All those news. The news, right? Out there. Oh, they divided the Red Sea. Oh, they killed all those kings. That's all she knew. And those are true stories, right? All those are true, right? And was she there? No. She only heard it from a distance. But that prostitute, is a prostitute a good one? Is a good job? No. So, what make her, believe, in that story? What made her? What made her, have that decision? To believe and to, when you go into read the book of Hebrews chapter 11, what? Obey. See, how can the prostitute obey? Does the prostitute know any Bible? No. Right? Does the prostitute lead a good life? No. Does the job of the prostitute please God? No. But why she was in the Bible in the book of Hebrews 11? Hebrews 11 is to do with what? What is the Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1 start with? The topic is what? Faith and obedience. Right? So even that prostitute didn't know the Bible, didn't, have experienced anything before. But the only thing he did was what? She trusted, and immediately she took the action. Isn't it? He didn't do many things right before. It was a lot of the stuff was wrong. But as soon as the truth come, she said, I believe. Right there. I give my life to believe it. Right? If she were caught, what would happen to her? They might chop her in pieces, right? I don't know what will they do to her. But she knew that. I'm going to give my life anyway. I don't want my lifestyle. My life is a mess. And not even that. Just look at this, all these circumstances. I cannot live like this. So I'm going to now stop that thing right away. And I see something, hope, that is coming. I'm going to believe that hope. And I'm not going to take longer time to do the action. I'm going to start immediately. So he started hiding those 2 spies into her house. Right? That's why she was in the book of Hebrews, right? So what about you guys? How long have you been a Christian? Right? Maybe some are 2, some are 3, some are 10, right? You say, I believed. But do you have action? Do you take any action? How many action you didn't do? Right? That's not good. That's not good at all. See, even the prostitute can believe and what? Act. Believe and act. So that's how God would like to see us. You said, I believe. You act. Reaction. What is your reaction? So your reaction is very important. Your obedience is very important. So that's how the blessing comes, right? Deuteronomy chapter 15, we already read that, right? 22 said what? Obey all the commandments. You heard it, you obeyed, and then God said that my part, I will do everything for you. Your part, you do what? You step on it. You walk. Action. You start doing action. So, what should you do? How do you like to walk every day of your life? How long you're going to live on earth, I don't know. I don't know how long I'm going to live. But the rest of our life should be what? Different, right? I just told you the story before I start, right? 7 years can die, right? You said that I'm still young? No. And even a strong man, healthy man can what? Die. So what should you do? The rest of your life, you what? Trust and action. By doing that, who will get the benefit? You. God, we're not doing for God. God would like to give us the blessing. God would like to bless us. But to do that, God would like to see the action. I'm going to do everything for you. But for your part is believe and action. Obey. So if you do that, try to do that this week. Some of you, in my Tuesday night class, I told you to do what? Quiet time, and I pair you two, in a pair, right? To remind each other what? How is your spiritual life? How are you doing with your quiet time? What did you learn today? How many of you do that? How many of you call your partner? Hey, how much it'll cost you? Not too much, right? Can you spend that amount of money just to call your friend? Won't take 5 minutes. And a lot of you are not what? Doing that. Why? Because you are not doing that. If you are doing that, you would like to have someone to do like you're doing. That's called love. Right? So if you don't do that, man, why don't you start this week again? Try again. That is for your own sake. That's not for me. God said that, I have to apply that to myself. We have to what? Command. We have to follow His command, obey, and God will do everything for us. Then, when you come, you're ready to serve. You say, give me more. I need more. Right? So, please try this week. And next week, you'll come and